So hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Frontrunners Innovate. And I have a beautiful young lady with us today that I'm so proud of. She is just doing so many wonderful things out there. And of course, as a person of mature means, I'm always looking for those young people who know that they are the future for all of us. And so we have such a good example of that in Tanzania right now, Ms. Rose Mmbaga. And Rose is someone I've met a while back when actually she was designated by my mentee as somebody she wanted to meet. My little mentee is out of Tanzania, and who, by the way, is getting ready to go to college next year. So I know.
Nice.
I've known her since she was 13, and now she's blossoming into the world. Rose is interesting. She has been working in youth empowerment for most of her young adult life, and probably before that. We'll hear more about that in a minute. But also is a Hall of Famer. She has been inducted in the Hall of Fame of the Association of Women in Events, and also the 50 most influential young women or young people of Tanzania. And it's just kind of paving the way for more young women to get out there, use their voice, and use whatever skills and gifts they may have the good Lord gave them to be able to do the wonderful work they're doing, empowering other young women and helping everybody basically, and especially young women to get ahead. And I'm all about that. She is the founder of the Kijana Initiative Organization, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, and also the story you never heard, which is part of this initiative. So I welcome Rose. Rose, a pleasure to have you here. Good to see you.
Thank you so much, Mary. By the way, thank you so much for having me in your platform. It's such a pleasure for someone like me to interact with you. So it's like a dream come true now.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. So let's get to know you a little bit. So give us a little bit of your backstory. I mean, how did you come into the world of youth empowerment and actually leadership in that arena from your country?
Okay, thanks for that question. Yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm from Kilimanjaro, Tanzania. And what inspired me the most to do what I am doing now, it's a passion of supporting young people, because behind the story of why I am doing is due to the my own personal development story. Because when after I finish university, I have these big dreams, like working in like United Nations. I thought maybe I have my degree, after I'm done, I will have an amazing job. But then I realized the reality is not like that. So it's taken me like 3 years to find a job. And personal, I realized, like, why can I volunteer to my community? So during these 3 years, I engaged the most with the volunteer work. So for almost 3 years, I work with different charity organizations like VSO International, there is Restless Development, and there is Rally International. So through my own experience, I realized, wow, so despite the fact I don't have a job, I can make someone smile, I can give back to the community. Then I'm so grateful through the experience, I found my dream job. So I started to become a youth development officer after those 3 years of volunteer. Then I realized, like, wow, now I'm here, I'm youth development officer. And the great part is, like, at that moment, with the organization which I used to work with, which is Rally International, they were looking for someone who can develop volunteers. And then I realized, oh, so I can use my own story to inspire graduates and students, because the hard part is when you go to an event, most of university students, they have the same mindset like I used to have. Like, they want to be paid like millions of shillings. They want to make sure they sit on the table and make sure, you know, those kind of life. And then I realized, no, guys, in reality, it's not like that. So let me tell you my story. So even myself, I used to be like you. So please, guys, come to volunteer, because when you come, you will change your life and all that stuff. So I just producing a documentary story of my own volunteer journey since the day one when I start to volunteer until I become youth development officer. And I realize most of them, they get inspired and they ask me a lot of questions. Do you think if I come to volunteer, what benefits I'm going to gain? I tell them, you are going to meet with new friends, network. We are living in a world where you really need to have good network. You see, Mary, because nowadays, when you are like in your university, it's the best timing for you to create and engaging with the right people. So through that, it helped me the most to engage with people in a deeper level, not only through my work. I realize I create good relationship with these young people. Some of them, after they finish even volunteer, they invite me to attend their wedding. Even when others, they have their own enjoy and opportunity, they ask me, can we help you? So I realized, wow, so this is what I need now. It's not only about money. Sometimes when you invest in people, it pays back. So yeah, so it inspired me the most to be where I am and why I'm doing what I am doing right now. Yes.
Perfect. That's great. When I have a question for you. What was your degree in?
Yeah, so I study Bachelor of Arts in Sociology.
Okay.
Yes.
Sociology. Okay. I just wanted to know. At what point did you start Kijana? That was not long ago, right? Wasn't it about a year ago?
Yeah, it was last month.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, 2024 actually, on December. So I launched Kijana Initiative Organization during International Volunteer Day. And the reason why I want to make it more memorable, because at the same time, that is the moment when I invite those people who I used to work with them for the past 10 years. So for me, it's like a surprise. I tell them, guys, we need to have reunion. At the same time, we are going to give back to the community. And so it's really, really amazing to see how many people they engage with the idea, because at first, for me, I know that I want to reach to many, many young people, but sometimes it's not easy to do it alone. So you need to have team so as to make sure you are doing the right thing. Even though I know previous I have done with different organizations, but this year, I mean, last year, I say maybe it's the right time now. I celebrate 10 years of impact. I need to be around with those people who are my mentees. Others, they used to support me. Others, I used to support them. So yes, that is when we launch Kijana Initiative Organization. Yes.
So what kind of programs are you putting forward through Kijana? I know it's a young organization, but you're in the process of growing it and expanding it. And is it just for Tanzania?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So we are aware now there is a global issues of climate action, and we have championed it even in our country for the past 10 years, because the place where we want to put our office, it's called Morogoro, and it's a central part of Tanzania, that region. And most of people, they using agriculture as the source of income to sometimes they cut down trees. So as we are aware that that is the only way, especially for most of women, to ensure that they, you know, they get access of their income. So for us, we realize it's really important to ensure that we're introducing idea of climate, you know, agribusiness activities. That is one of our priority, and teach them about environmental conversations like planting tree. And now we have a very good networks in schools whereby they are very happy to support in planting tree, even in the regional commissioner. So that is one. But the second thing is about economic empowerment. We are living in a world where special girls, they need to experience a very good support, and even to provide a resource like entrepreneurship skills during the launching day. I'm so grateful. I have some few role models who are doing their own business. We see how it's impacted, because you can find it's helped even most of young people to have different mindsets, because most of them, we all been there. Like, we have expectation, like after you finish, someone will employ you. But what if we can give you these skills or training or knowledge, so as you can start your own either initiative or business? So that is also one of our priority, economic empowerment. And also we want to focus on digital resource, because we know that yes, now we are living in a world where by now I'm here with you, we are communicate, you are in other continent. And imagine I'm in Africa, even though internet sometimes is not good, but so that's why we say we really need to have support in terms of resource, sometimes internet. It's so hard here in Tanzania. Trust me, even myself, I struggle a lot, especially most of our this project we want to deliver in the rural areas. So areas like this, they need very good internet, but at the same time, it's not only about internet. We need to teach them importance of using social media to get opportunity. Even me, if I'm not mistaken, I get to know you through social media. We communicate, even though I know sometimes we are not seeing each other a lot, but it's the best way for us to communicate and to ensure that everyone have access to opportunity. So that is also one of our good priority. And I said we are also, I will talk a bit, as I said, the story you never heard, because also we want to use digital platform to ensure that we share amazing stories of these people who are doing remarkable work. So we really need to ensure that we have platform like this one you give me, because today I have this privilege to have this platform. So why can we also, as Kijana Initiative Organization, we can do something like that to reach more people? So that is our most priority areas. Yes, we want to focus, and we hope in the nearly future we will expanding more. We want to starting first with issue of environment, and then economic empowerment and the digital resource. So that is our main focus for the moment.
So as you think about growth, do you see yourself becoming more continent-wise? I mean, across the
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So as we say, because our main mission of Kijana Initiative Organization, we want to empower not only young or people in Tanzania, even beyond, because it's not about Tanzania itself. Even right now, I know that there is someone after hear this inspirational interview we have, maybe from another country. So it doesn't mean that it's only Tanzania, but because now it's something which we can afford to do, so we need first to focus in Tanzania. But if we find the right people or partner or like supporter who want to expand or work with us, because even we will need mentors, just like you, Mary, to make sure we have good guidance in different areas. So yeah, we want to expand totally in the future. Yes.
That's great. And you're such a
Mm.
good role model for so many other
Oh,
people, other young ladies there to step up and be of some help to you.
Okay.
So, I was thinking, I've been asked to speak this weekend to an organization based out of Nigeria, but it's global, that has sort of a similar purpose. It's been operational for quite some time, but they take a group of young women anywhere in Africa and run them through a program that also attaches mentors to them. They have an opening ceremony and a closing and graduation. So they're graduating another class this Saturday, and they asked me to speak.
Wow.
But I'm one of, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 speakers or whatever, but a lot of it's just to help motivate them and take what they've learned, along with the basis of a network that they've started to grow via their mentors, and move it forward. But they also ended up, I think one year, I don't know if they're still doing it, but a tech version of Mentor Her to Greatness. Mentor Her to Greatness is the name of the program, but they had a Tech Her to Greatness program that was all about website building and all the digital literacy, types of things. And it was all volunteer driven. And they did some really good work. They do some really good work. But I was thinking it would be wonderful to connect you to that program, because I think there could be some sharing back and forth that would relate in terms of, models and resources and things like that. That would be terrific. But I want to ask you this. Do you still have the vision of working with the United Nations? Do you still hold that
Actually, I already work with them, and my dream is already came true. And because at first, in my mind, I thought maybe I really need to be there in the office, but it doesn't mean to be there. Even for me going there, and I managed 8 years ago, my dream already came true, because I was standing in front of, United Nations office and share about my personal story and how I inspire Tanzania about climate action. So for me, I feel like I'm good now.
You're there.
I'm already there. So I was there already. So it's not, but if it's happened, I can still do it. But now I think my vision is different now. Yes.
Sounds like you've got your own little United Nations thing going on here. So you got your own version of it that you're building. You've come into yourself, I think. And that's, I think that's largely what happens to a lot of young people, is they get a vision for themselves, and then at some point that vision shifts, or it becomes bigger, or it becomes more personal, or it becomes something else. But it's based on the original vision. The heart that was in the original vision is still there. And so you can do what you needed to do. Yeah. So this is terrific. One of the things I would mention to you as you're building this too, is I was thinking, I always write notes and take names and everything down when I'm talking to somebody, even on the podcast. But one of the things that you were talking about as far as getting your word out there, the podcast that I do is really like a business development tool for me. For a lot of the interviews, it gives me an opportunity to pull towards me the types of people I think I can work with or do something with, for the most part. And so it helps me to build out my network to places I want it to be. So I think I'm in 80 different countries, maybe about 80 or 90 different countries now. I've had relationships that I have developed through the podcast for that. And it's become the basis of the global business development work that I do. So almost all of my clients and all of my collaborators came through this podcast. And there's about a dozen of people like me that do the same thing that we do. We work on large scale deals, funding opportunities. We work on projects like sustainable villages and things like that together. So and a lot of the opportunities I've been able to put together, because I saw the gap between what one person didn't have and another person had the solution for it, came from this. So that's a good idea. Your story, that you never heard. if you could put together with a strategic mindset and also giving a platform to people to, to share what they're doing, also shows opportunities for other people and motivates other people as well. So it's two parts. It becomes an enterprise tool, but it also becomes, a solution for developing out that network and giving some visibility to people that you want to.
Exactly.
The other thing is there's a program I'm about to end up on the board of, I think, or at least I hope so, called Age Africa, and it's advancing girls' education in Africa, and it's out of Malawi. And the person that I've interviewed their director for it, the person that I knew first from it is one of their board members, who's also a former U.S. ambassador to Malawi, who lives near me now. And so I've been able to meet her in person. And one of the things that she was telling me that they're really proud of, because they're kind of like you, they have their roots in just one country right now, but they're expanding within that country. And they work with girls' education and empowerment, therefore, from the education to the empowerment, but also with scholarships, education scholarships. That's what they're all about. And one of the things that they said during the pandemic that they did when they couldn't do so much one-on-one, and they knew that girls are more at risk when they stay at home, they're better off when they're out doing some things, is the girls kind of, and the volunteers that were working with them, self-organized into little pods, groups, and they used the local radio station to do some of their programming. The girls hosted it and produced it. They put it out there as being important, programming types of bits and pieces. And then these little pods, these groups would go around the local, whoever had a radio to listen. And then they'd have discussions afterwards about it. And she said, in that way, we grew in a way we never dreamed that we probably could. And it's expanded us beyond, even the boundaries of Malawi into other countries, as they were able to pick up the radio signal. And as family members said, you should hear this, and shared it, with other people. So being able to have a partnership with a broadcast station, whether it be radio, television, whatever it may be, could be in your area, could be the way to start kind of growing, bit by bit. You certainly have the credentials for it, I would think. So, and you've got your presence. So that could be something, and it wouldn't have to be all on you. That's a good way to motivate your volunteers. I need you to become media savvy, and you were talking about digital world. There's nothing more digital than that.
Exactly. So, exactly. I like that.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's a good example. Another one would be, I kind of have a relationship with a refugee camp in Malawi, and they put themselves together through a gentleman in the United States who's the organizing body of that. They put together an enterprise called Zawadi. Zawadi is a group of very well trained, mostly digital, all digital pretty much, technically skilled individuals from that refugee encampment or city that can build websites, that can do social media stuff and all this kind of stuff. They work in teams, they're trained, and then they work in teams, and the team leader is the one who kind of indicates who's doing what in the team. Also, if somebody gets moved from out of that area, at least the team as itself knows what the project is. And so there's no time lost, and there's no, as they're servicing, they do charge for it, but they charge very reasonable rates. And then they send a newsletter around to all of the customers that they've served for that month, letting you know from the team that worked with you what they used your money for. So the guy that was the lead on doing my website, because I had my website redone by Zawadi, and the guy who was the lead on that actually used the money that he was paid to help his mother buy some farmland. And so that they could grow. He had a family of 11. So they could grow their own fruits and vegetables, and then whatever was left over, if there was any left over, could be sold in a local co-op, little farmer's market. And so they could make some money. But he did that for his mother. Basically, well, in essence, he was going to get to eat some of that too. So it was good for him too. But I thought that was really neat, because then you knew what kind of impact you are having there, but it was a way to be sustainable. So they could continue growing the library that was there, and they could continue buying pieces of like equipment like laptops and, you know, computer parts and things that they might need, a printer or, you know, a scanner or something. So it was a way for them to be, you know, to develop a sustainable model for themselves. So I'm a big fan of sustainability because it keeps you from having to constantly ask for grant, you know, write grants or ask for money and donors. And it's just really, everybody's really suspicious and highly guarded now about, you know, sending money places. So that could be something to enlist, at least just an idea to turn like on your head. So but anyway, as sort of a final question, and I told you this was coming, what types of people do you think that you need to meet to help you move your program forward?
Wow, that's a very, very good question. Thank you for that. I think for me, I would like to have those people who they can understand our mission and vision, because as I said, our main mission is not only to empower those young Tanzania, but even others beyond. We want to make sure we make it like, you know, global, because now we share, when you talk about climate action, something which is affect everywhere. We see what happened in LA, you know, a lot of things. So our main vision with Kijana Initiative Organization, we want to empower young Tanzania and beyond, and we want to equip them with the skill, knowledge, and resource, you know, to tackle this global challenge, so as we can build a sustainable future. So those kind of people who we are looking forward, let's say now we are looking we are doing our own fundraise, by the way, we do online fundraise. I like the way you talk about sustainability, because it's not about asking people to support you, but at the same time, me as a founder or CEO, what can I put effort so as I can meet with the right people? So currently, if there is some people who can give us even their platform, like the way you give me now, Mary, because I know at the end of the day, I'm going to share, and people, they can see what we are doing, but at the same time, people can guide us in websites, because we are also have social media like Facebook and Instagram, but we really need to find the right people who can guide us, so even if support us designing of good websites, whereby most people from outside the country, they can see our work. But second thing, it's like, you know, even now we are struggle with the fund, but we want to have those people who might be interested to work with us to ensure that we raise money either together, because we are looking to have like training place, local training place, you know, because it's really costing to providing like training, sometime to pay for venue, ensure you have accommodation. Even for my team, I'm so grateful they volunteer. You know, I have 6 people, they just believing like we can be somewhere. So at least if I find someone who can lift me or empower me in terms of saying that maybe we will support even for allowance, but at the same time, we want to have like GoFunding platform, so anyone who can donate, so we are happy with them. So we need those people who can push us. And as you know, women's sometimes it's really hard being in a dominance of many, you know, when you are like a CEO, it's not easy, especially in Africa, because as the time when you interact with the, you know, global world, you really need to make sure you are competent, but also we need to have those mentors who can link us with the conference or events. If there is an opportunity somewhere, even training, not only for me, even if for my team, providing training session for my team. So we need those kind of people who can deliver like this session in area which we want to work with, like, you know, digital education, issue about fundraising, issue about, you know, team building sometimes. So we really need those kind of support from people. Yeah, so mostly I would say connection, the right connection, you know,
Yeah.
because that's the beginning of all the magic. Sometimes it's hard for me to mention I need this and this and this. It depends how you interact with the people, then you realize sometimes it's not about money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about someone to give you ideas, like the way you share. I really like the idea when you say about radio idea, because even us, for the project of the story you never heard, we are doing exactly the same, but we never know there is other people they are doing that. Sometimes just you need people who already done that to guide you. So those are the things we need. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you could create a partnership with a radio station, they have the connectivity.
Yeah,
for you.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You're not as likely to
Yeah.
like get on a, you know, an interview
Exactly.
situation like this and not have it. Or, you know, like what happened when we first tried to get together, we were having issues with the connectivity. With a radio station, they can broadcast and they understand if there's issues when internet goes down or whatever. I mean, I don't know what kind of you know, electronics they're using, or, you know, engineering stuff that they're using, but I would say that could be, you know, a definite thing. The other thing, if you feel like you write well, is finding a partner publication that would help you in getting the word out. And what you would do is, just like I did years and years and years ago, I wrote for a local business magazine because they were just looking for business articles that would help them, you know, help some of their readers. So in your particular case, it might be more of, you know, girls empowerment, or it might be, you know, digital training, digital, you know, literacy training, or it might be something else, or just indicating, you know, getting some of your volunteers who write very well to be able to write their own stories and how this is, you know, this volunteering is impacting them. A couple of other resources I can give you just while we're on this podcast is, if you've got a Rotary Club nearby or a Rotaract Club. The Rotaract Club is for the little bit younger. Usually Rotary Club is more the experienced business people are in the area, but the Rotaract Club, if they have one, is your age.
Wow. Can you repeat that again? Sorry, I'm interested.
Yeah, Rotary. I'm a member of Rotary Club, and there is
a
Rotary
mean
Club.
Rotary.
Rotary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Rotary International does do grants.
Yeah.
Your local Rotary clubs do grants, and education is one of their top verticals that they need to be sent, you know, using money for. So having an education program that you can actually do a presentation on would be an important thing. Rotary International grants usually require a Rotary Club in that area and a matching another Rotary Club in another area to come together and create, you know, some kind of magic that will help both clubs. But in your particular area, if there is one, I would find out who the lead is and who you can or somebody who's connected with it, and create an introduction of yourself to it and let them know that you're there. The other thing is, there is such a thing called the World United Nations Association. There's probably a branch of that in your area. There is one in most countries. And it's their job to look for the programs and look for gaps and opportunities and problems in areas and report that back to the UN and see what they can do on that. Largely, I've interviewed the gal who is the chairman of it. She said her particular role within the UN had to do with security, I think. So she served on the security committee, but she said there are all these different association chapters everywhere, all around the world. So being able to find out who you need to connect there might be some help to you as well, resource wise, and also building your credibility and your influence up that ladder to be able to do more with less, do more what you can do. And I think that would be very useful to you. That kind of comes in line with, I think, what you want to do is get endorsed. It's a young organization, but there's nothing like now to get endorsed by a global organization that likes what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. that likes
Yeah,
what you're doing.
that's so nice.
So, and that would be kind of recognized. So, even if you started locally, with any kind of
Mm,
organization in, Tanzania, then that would be
mm,
fine. Whether
okay.
it's an education, a university, whether it's another nonprofit that's got some influence and credibility in the area, whatever it may be, and then take
Mm,
that and go somewhere higher than that and get another endorsement. And by
okay.
getting those endorsements, that helps you with the credibility, which helps you with fundraising.
Mm,
It helps you with fundraising.
so true.
So, yeah. So I would say that those are good things. Also creating an advisory panel of maybe 3 to 5 advisors that would help you figure out next steps for different things that you need to do. So I'm
Yeah.
not talking about like a board members per
Mm,
se, but maybe just an advisory pool. And you need to have some that are there locally, just because that's where you're starting. That's where your roots are right now. And
yes.
then find somebody at an NGO that's larger than you, that, that maybe that
Mm,
could help you to get those endorsements, and see how that might work out. But I'd say, those would be some stepping stones. I'm a graduate of the U.S. Chamber of
yeah.
Commerce Institute for Organization Management, and I ran a nonprofit
Okay.
for a period of time, and I'm co-founder on 2 or 3. So that's where my, my expertise comes
Mm,
from. But I would say you're on the road. You've got this going on, and I'm really proud of you.
oh,
I'm really pleased to see what you're
thank
doing,
you
and I
so
can't wait
much.
to catch up with you after a
Yeah,
while and you've made some progress and we can come back and have a
no.
chat. But
Wow, this is so beautiful. It's give me it's you empower me, and I feel like I'm in the right path right now, because at the same time, what you have mentioned, it was like ringing in my head, and even the issue of publication. Today, I'm so excited. I find someone who interested in my team and publish our story at the Citizen newspaper. So what you are saying, it gives me so hope, like I really need to have this kind of guidance. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm
make
looking
those
forward.
partnerships official and put them
Mm.
in writing. Have them
Oh,
create
nice.
an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, which says
Okay.
we will give you this many articles a year that will relate
Yeah.
to this, this, and this if you will publish them, blah, 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 blah. And you
Yeah.
do the same thing with
Okay.
a radio station. We would like to, to
Exactly.
do this for you that
Mm.
relates to subject matter that will be important to you and to your listeners,
Yeah.
and help
Exactly.
you increase your listeners by
Mm.
doing so, and that sort of thing. So it's always you got to give them a little something if they're going to give you something. I used to do voiceover work for
Yeah.
a radio
True.
station, so,
Yeah.
and
Very true.
yeah, I traded off. I would do some voiceover work for ads, for
Mm.
advertisements, and then they gave me a few minutes to, I had a book published on networking. And so they gave me a few minutes to talk about different tips from my book. So
Yeah, that's
you can
nice.
create this sort of,
Yeah, to pitch,
yeah,
yeah, to make sure that
collaboration that
it's
works really
true.
well for
And
you. So
yeah, and I think the one thing which you are doing amazing, Mary, and what you inspire me the most, the way you using the connection as a stepping stone. And you know the power of human connection, because I was reading your profile. Oh my God, it's really inspiring. And for me,
thank you.
looking back at the same time, I try to see, okay, so sometime investing in people, in connection, it's really paying back. So maybe, as you said, for the moment, I need to make sure that I find the right people to associate with, and to ensure that we are like see, maybe someone's problem can be solution to me, or solution to me can be, how we can link it together. So I like that. I will
It's all
work
about
on.
relationship development.
Yes.
There's always
Yeah,
a people solution to every problem. And I
it's
always look
true.
at it that way. You're not going to solve it by yourself, usually.
Hmm.
And so you always look to a person in your network to help you solve a problem. And I think that there usually is somebody if you look hard enough. Sometimes we
Hmm.
have people we've put a label on them in our network, not realizing they have a history or a background or their own networks that that could
Yeah.
mean something to you, but you don't know that until you talk to them. And that's
Yeah,
relationship
exactly.
development until you get that relationship going where you know, oh yeah, did you know so-and-so used to
Mm.
work in that space? You know,
Yeah,
did you know
so
that he
true.
knows? You know, who would have
Yeah.
figured my gal in the UK knows somebody at the head of a really well-known healthcare,
Mm.
corporation in Australia. She went to
Yeah,
school with
so
her.
true. So
So you don't know these things until you talk to people, and that's how you're gonna stack yourself all the way up, stair step yourself all the way up to the higher levels that I know that you're aiming for, and that, I think that God has in mind for you. So I think it's just paying attention and, like you say, making those connections with the right people. So
yeah.
as you go forward, I'm going to wish you the very best. We're going to close this out with just saying thank you so much. And if there's people out here listening that appreciated what Rose is doing and how she's doing it, and have maybe some other advice for her, and maybe a program you want to talk to her about, or maybe want to partner with her in any way, collaborate on
Mm.
programs, help support what she's doing anyway, and highly recommend that you think about doing that. We're going to provide Rose's LinkedIn profile and ways to get into contact with her with this interview on our frontrunnersdevelopment.com website. So you're going to have that. So if you're seeing this on YouTube or anywhere else around the social sphere, then go to that page, frontrunnersdevelopment.com. You'll see her probably smiling face on the front cover of the homepage, and just pop in and have a listen, and you'll see the links there. So I'm going to say goodbye to everyone from now. Rose, stay with me for a minute, and we'll just say until next time, we'll see you again on Frontrunners Innovate. Appreciate it. Bye-bye, everybody.